afternoon and welcome to the 17th Community Briefing on August 12th, 2020. As we remain watchful of the county's metrics, the city is focused on how to best support our community through economic sustainability. We have many tools to support Anacortes through these difficult and uncertain times, and our residents have tools to help support our community as well. Our economic recovery is intertwined with the health of our community. Our greatest tools now are wearing a mask, physical distancing, and practicing good hygiene by washing your hands often. We need to remind ourselves daily that by doing these things, we're supporting our favorite small retail store or our restaurant. By following public health guidelines, we're supporting businesses so they can continue to be part of this community and provide jobs to our friends and our neighbors. These businesses are the backbone of our town, and together we need to remain committed to supporting them. The city continues to look for new ways to reach out and support struggling businesses and families. Thank you for doing your part, and we at the city are committed to continuing to do our part. Right now, there is a widespread community transmission of COVID-19 in our state. This is not limited to just a few hot spots like workplaces or long-term care facilities or certain industries. Community transmission is what is stopping us from meeting the state's metrics. Things like gathering with close family and friends are driving the rates of infection. Masks make a difference in controlling the disease spread, and thankfully mask usage is going up. We had our first case in the county on March 10th, and since then, for every 44.4 cases, 4 people have been hospitalized, 1.5 people have been sent to the ICU, and there has been 1 death. It's important to understand that the data is showing that the demographics of those getting infected are shifting. Members of the Hispanic community were showing disproportionately high rates of infection. However, due to the exceptional outreach efforts on Skagit County Health, the numbers have decreased. The ages of those getting COVID-19 has now unfortunately shifted from the older generation to the 0 to 19 age group. Young people must hear the message that they're not invincible. This is a deadly virus, and we must all protect ourselves and our young community members. Education is the best tool we have in our community. Don't turn a blind eye to unsafe practices. We need to have conversations with people and businesses about the need to comply with restrictions on gatherings and the needs to wear masks. Currently, our state infection rate is about 1.5. That means for every person that's infected, it spreads to another 1.5 other people. This leads to exponential spread, and we need the infection rate below 1 to beat COVID-19. The governor has been modeling his Safe Start plan to help slow and stop community transmission in high-risk gathering places. We continue to see reports of COVID-19 outbreaks at spiritual gatherings. The governor still strongly encourages religious leaders and communities have services remotely. Drive-in services are allowed, and they are a safe alternative. Counseling services are essential and are permitted in person if remote counseling is not possible. Currently, services can be held at a place of worship with up to 25% of the room capacity or a maximum of 200 people, whatever is less. 6 feet of physical distancing must be maintained between households, and masks are required for everyone. In-home services at a person's residence can have up to 5 total individuals, excluding the organizational staff, and that's permitted as long as all participants are wearing face coverings. Exercising indoors is a high-risk activity for transmitting COVID-19. Adequate physical space, ventilation, and sanitation practices need to be maintained. Larger indoor spaces with fewer people is less risky than smaller indoor spaces with more people, even when physical distancing can be maintained. Currently, cases of mixed households are allowed with a maximum of 8 from other different households and a maximum of 12 in a group. Small enclosed court sports like racquetball and squash are currently not allowed at any indoor facility in Phase 2 or 3. As of Monday, unstaffed gyms are not able to reopen until Phase 4 unless the facility ensures the space is staffed full-time. School administrators across the state and the country are facing challenges and complexities around how to operate schools this year. In the midst of this COVID pandemic, the Anacortes School District has been in consultation with the local health officials, local elected leaders like myself, teachers, and other school staff, families, and stakeholders in considering the risks and the benefits of different modes of education in the context of COVID-19. The governor issued a statewide plan for several different considerations for deciding whether or not to return to in-person learning. But no matter the county, when COVID-19 infection rates are high, the state strongly recommends school districts move to a mostly online or remote learning model. The state framework looks at individual county data, and it's broken into 3 categories of disease transmission level and is measured by incident of cases per 100,000 residents over a 2-week period, high risk, moderate risk, and low risk. Currently, Skagit County falls into the high risk category. To move to Phase 3, a county must meet the following metrics. A county must have fewer than 25 cases per 100,000 residents over 14 consecutive days. We currently have 107.6 cases per 100,000 residents. Number 2, a county must have greater than 50 individuals tested per each new case during the prior week. We have preliminary numbers indicating 24.8 tests per each new case. Number 3, the percentage of individuals testing positive must be less than 2%. We have preliminary numbers indicating we're at 4%. Number 4, the percentages of beds occupied in the county must be less than 80%. We are currently at 86%. And lastly, number 5, the percentage of those beds occupied by COVID-19 cases must be less than 10%, and we are at 5.1%. And those beds are in the hospitals. The state has reported that it has not been able to update 2 of the key metrics on the state dashboard since August 1st. We do have current case counts, but we do not have the latest on the state risk assessment data regarding number tested per new cases and percent testing positive due to issues with numbers of negative test results. So I hope to bring you that next week. Across the United States, we saw a jump of over 40,000 cases in just one day, bringing our cases to over 5 million in the United States. There have been over 162,000 deaths, with over 500 deaths reported in just one day. Worldwide, we're nearly at 20 million cases of COVID-19. Island Hospital has tested a total of 3,726 people, with a total of 51 positive cases, 9 hospitalized cases, and we've been blessed with no deaths in Anacortes. We have had an increase of 10 cases this last month in Anacortes, and as of yesterday, Skagit County Health District reports 891 cases in the county, 22 fatalities, and 85 total hospitalizations. There have been 18,607 tests, with 392 people testing positive so far. The testing facility continues to be open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Skagit Valley College East parking lot near McIntyre Hall. The county has been experiencing high volumes of people on Mondays, topping 500 people with wait times up to 3 hours. The highest number tested was performed in one day was 595 on July 13th. The site continues to be an important tool in fighting COVID-19, and if you're concerned you've been exposed, please go get tested. Many people may not know they've been exposed. They can unknowingly spread the virus. Contact tracers follow up with employers regarding workplace exposure, infection control, disinfection, quarantine, and close contacts. They work closely with the regional hospitals and the clinics with initial interviews that are done within 24 hours of a positive test, and contact is made with close contacts within 48 hours. The governor has also issued a proclamation which exempts personally identifiable information collected by COVID-19 case investigators from any public disclosure. Skagit County has contact tracers working to alert those who have been exposed to COVID-19 so they can quarantine and protect others. Today, the county announced they have just hired 3 new people to assist with this important work. Each contact tracer will be working 10-hour shifts. Meanwhile, the city continues to conduct daily business and provide services to our community. Currently, in the planning department, single-family residential permits are at 36 compared to 29 at the same time last year. There have been 95 single-family resident alteration permits compared to 103 last year. Overall permits are at 435 compared to 494 last year. The city will be receiving 10 parklets, or streeteries as we're going to call them, within the next 2 weeks. They're quick to assemble, and once they're here, these parklets will facilitate physical distance, outdoor dining, and retail space. These 10 new parklets, or streeteries, will be located at Fidalgo Artisan Yarn and Clothing, Adrift, the Brown Lantern, Dad's Diner, Indulge, Nona Luisa, Drink Your Veggies, Frida's, Mama Wing, The Wheelhouse, and Il Henente. And you can see an example of one we already have put up in front of Dad's Diner. And Frida's has taken use of the street while they wait for their streetery. Washington State has recreated a new eviction rent assistance program using Federal CARES Act dollars. Approximately $1.3 million will be coming to families in Skagit County who need assistance. The Samish Indian Nation, the Housing Authority of Skagit County, Catholic Community Services, Farm Workers Center, Community Action of Skagit County will work to serve the community and to distribute these funds. The program will hit the ground running in a few weeks, along with our own local program at the city. The city staff will present a proposal to use $57,000 of our Community Development Block Grant funding for rental assistance to residents in the city of Anacortes. And we will present that to the City Council. We recognize the financial strain many families are suffering, and we're working on a supplemental program to help meet the needs of our most vulnerable. I want to take a moment and talk about wearing masks at parks and in the Anacortes community forest lands. I've heard from many of you who are concerned and frustrated. I want to make it very clear, if you're going to a city park or you're going to the forest lands, you need to be wearing a mask unless you're walking, hiking, bicycling, running, and you're able to maintain 6 feet of distance from any non-household member. With this beautiful weather we've been having, it's very likely you'll come within 6 feet of a non-household member. And so you should at all times have your mask with you so you can comply with this order and show compassion and respect for those trying to share and enjoy our beautiful outdoor spaces. Due to the restrictions placed on our recreation activities and gatherings in Phase 2, the City of Anacortes has had to cancel our annual Youth Soccer League for the 2020 season. Under the current restrictions for gathering of people, there is no way for our kids to safely gather and play games. Our priority is to protect the safety of our children and families in this community. So we're working on alternatives to help our children be active and safe. We're currently working on a way for small groups of kids and a coach, a limit of 5 total, to get together and practice skills. If you're a parent or you're a coach and you want to get 4 kids together and practice soccer skills this fall, you can sign up at one of our training cubes. The training cubes will run from late August through October. If you're interested, please reach out to the Parks Department for more information. City crews have removed the cannon at Cosland Park today so that our volunteers can begin their restoration work on the cannon. The cannon will be stored indoors so volunteers can remove rust and repair the cannon, which was first placed in the park in 1960. The city's goal is to have it back in place before the Cosland Park Centennial next summer. If you have any questions and would like to help with the restoration effort, please contact the Park and Recreation Office at 360-293-1918, 293-1918. While the library misses seeing you every day, there are some exciting new options for connecting virtually that allow you to participate in events wherever you may be. This week, during a Zoom craft class, a family tuned in from Arizona. They'll be moving to Anacortes soon, but are making connections with their new hometown through our virtual library programs. If your family has missed a library program, they're all available on the library website. Virtual programs at the library have been a comfort to our residents and our families during these unprecedented closures. Our community has been connecting while we're apart. This week alone, more than 1,000 of you joined the library for the August read-along. As of today, the library has created over 130 virtual programs. They have been viewed more than 55,000 times. That's right, 55,000 times. Top episodes have had more than 2,000 participants and have featured programs from city staff across departments, including our Park and Rec Director highlighting beekeeping, our Public Works and Legal Director hosting a story time in the ocean, and our Waste Management and Police Departments reading stories. Hundreds of you have joined the library's digital platform, and digital reading and listening have gone up more than 100% across the platform during these COVID times. Since our curbside book delivery service began, the library has served 1,675 customers with a high of 77 people checking out items on voting day. Even though we feel far apart, we're all together in this. As the library plans programs for fall, I look forward to seeing the community members sharing skills, hosting programs, supporting each other. And it's no surprise to us that the videos with community partners and local artists and business owners are the most popular. Anacortes is strong together, and even apart, we're learning and sharing as a community. The Skagit County Commissioners recently awarded 75 business and nonprofits a total of $809,000 as part of the Skagit County Small Business Grant Program, supporting local businesses and nonprofits impacted by COVID-19. Awards were from $5,000 to $25,000 each and went to Skagit businesses with 25 or fewer employees, helping them remain open and retain jobs. 130 businesses and 20 nonprofits applied, asking for a total of $1.5 million in funding. There is a real need in our county as our businesses continue to struggle. We can all do our part by supporting a local business, mask up, and support that business. So now I get to the question and answer part of the program. And today we have, I believe, 5 questions set in by the public. Question number 1. Are there any penalties to businesses or residents refusing to follow Phase 2 guidelines? Businesses must comply with Phase 2 guidelines. If they're found not in compliance, it's a business violation, and the Department of Labor and Industry, as well as appropriate enforcement agency, will get involved. We hope most people will wear a face covering to protect the health of their friends and loved ones. The Anacortes Police Department continues to focus on education and informing people the need to wear a mask and to comply with the governor's order. Number 2, I have heard there have been outbreaks in different squadrons at the NAS Whidbey. Since so many of the personnel live in Anacortes, are you given these numbers? There have been hot spots in several cases across the state. Local health departments work closely with facility experiencing hot spots to contain and trace the spread of the virus. Due to the privacy laws surrounding public health, the address of those who are test positive are not provided to the city. The Island County Public Health Department tracks all positive cases in their county and breaks it down by city, which is available publicly on your website. Currently, they report 249 positive cases and 11 deaths across Island County. Question number 3. Please discuss the decision to keep the town's playgrounds closed. What metrics are you using to continue this closure, and what metrics will you use to allow them to open? The city is committed to following the governor's Safe Start plan to reopen our economy. Our primary goal is to maintain public safety in our community. The governor closes playgrounds during phases 1 and 2. We are currently in phase 2, and the governor has paused all counties from moving forward to the next phase until 5 metrics are met, which I listed earlier in the briefing, and right now we are meeting 1 metric, and we are high risk. When the county is approved by the state health department to move to phase 3, the city will reopen its playgrounds in accordance to state guidelines. Number 4, if I'm meeting my walking group at the Anacortes Forest Lands, do I have to wear a mask? If you're going to be meeting a group of people to walk together, you absolutely must wear a mask. Gatherings of over 5 people outside your household per week are prohibited during this phase, so at this time you should not be meeting with groups larger than 5. Question number 5. What should I do if I go to the park and I see people not wearing masks? It is each person's individual responsibility to wear face covering in public. This is a requirement set by the state. If someone is not wearing a mask, they may have a medical reason for not doing so. Whether those around you are wearing face coverings or not, it's extremely important to focus on keeping your 6-foot distance between you and washing your hands often and wearing your mask. So today, in conclusion, many of us have friends and families and coworkers who are immune compromised or belong to a high-risk group. These people close to us are higher risk, are higher risk to have severe cases of COVID-19 and have complications that could be potentially deadly. These are our friends. These are our neighbors, our family members. Their safety is dependent on the actions of everyone in this community. When you choose to wear a mask, you're telling everyone around you that you care and you have compassion for those that are at risk. It shows that a small inconvenience of wearing a mask is something you would happily do to protect those you care about and to support your community and your local small business. But we continue to struggle with wearing our masks. The latest reported numbers show an increase in COVID cases. We must practice this new mask wearing mandate. We must remain diligent in our behavior. This reminds me of when we were first required to wear seat belts. I remember there were so many reasons that people used not to comply. You could be trapped in your car in case of an accident. It was your right not to wear a seatbelt. Seatbelts were uncomfortable. And my favorite, I can't sit next to my boyfriend if I wear my seatbelt. It took some time, and we all realized that wearing seatbelts saves lives. Today it's a habit. We just click it when we get into our cars. We must make masks a habit now. We need to embrace it to protect ourselves, our families, our friends, our community's health, and our economy. We do not have the luxury of time to decide. We must act now for each other. Thank you for being here again today with me, and I'll see you all next week. Be safe and wear your mask.